Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, happy study time, and welcome to the Absolutely Studying podcast. In this series, we go through all of the in depth articles on the website and actually break them down and make them in a more digestible format. I know that reading a long guide is not for everyone. Sometimes you just want to get through it. So, here I will not only go through the guide with you step by step so that you can take it in a different format. You can have it playing in the background while you do other things. And we will also discuss and get into some of the nitty gritty of why some of the steps are important, why they are highlighted, and why they're even in there in the first place. So, I've got a beverage, I've got some pineapple pop here. Hopefully, you have this beverage and a little study snack as well. So, if you are living that study struggle, don't forget to subscribe. You can get access to this anywhere you choose to listen to your podcasts and on all of our new articles we will be adding these digestible formats in. So let me share my screen so you can see what's going on. So obviously, if you're here, you know that the article for today is how to use your syllabus to get the grades you want. And I feel like this is such a great starting point because this is where all of our classes start with our syllabus. So here is the article. As always, you can always get access to the free study planner and activity tracker completely free. It is available in the description of all of our videos. And if you visit the article itself, which will also be linked down in the description, you can get it there as well. You can get access to the article there as well, which will also lead you to the printable. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The most important day of class is probably the one you least expect. It's not midterm day, nor is it the final exam. It's also not any of the lectures in between. The most important class is the very first one. How is this possible, you ask? The very first day of class is the most important because this is the day they hand out your syllabus. You may not appreciate this yet, but the syllabus is the most important piece of paper you will receive this semester. You can use your syllabus to anticipate your workload and plan your study sessions ahead of time. This way, you can ensure that your schedule stays balanced and avoids stress. So, what is a syllabus? Your syllabus tells you everything you need to know about the class and the schedule. It describes how your mark is broken down, the weight of each assignment, and how many tests and exams you can expect, and the worth of each of them. The syllabus even tells you if you are expected to do labs or tutorials and how they will reflect on your final mark. It essentially outlines the entire curriculum of the class for you because you can now see a snapshot of everything you have to learn along with how you will be marked. You can make a plan to excel. You know precisely what the professor will teach and assign so you can be ready. Learning how to use your syllabus properly will allow you to skyrocket ahead of the class. This will give you all the time you need to study and strategize how to get the mark you want. Avoiding surprises like these will put you in the best position possible to ace the class. So, why is your syllabus important? Your syllabus is important because it tells you a few critical things. One, how you will be graded. Two, what you will be graded on. Three, what you will cover in class. Four, how can you get help with the class if you need it? And five, what resources are available to you? Some syllabi are a little bit more in depth than others. It really just depends on your professor, but they should all cover at least these points. You can use your syllabus to make study guides to help make sure you cover everything in class. Creating a solid study strategy before you sit down for each session will save you time and help to ensure that you cover all of the material. It also helps to vary your study activities so you're not always doing the same things. This way, you can make sure you change how you study each concept so you take in the information differently. This helps make more memory cues and mental associations to fall back on during test time. If you need it, you can download my free printable study guide template. It has plenty of templates and activity trackers to help you plan each study session throughout the entire semester. How to use your syllabus effectively to get the grades you want. Usually, most of your first class is dedicated to going over the syllabus. Many students will skip this class, but that would be a mistake. There's a reason why the professor spends more time on this one document than they do on many concepts. This paper will guide everything you do for the next several months. Nearly any question about the class can be answered by simply reviewing it. The paper is a must read. However, most students don't review it, which is why the first class is spent discussing it. The information in your syllabus is critical. And I'm going to show you how to wield this power for good. You can use your syllabus to set goals for the whole semester. Upon first glance at the syllabus, you may think that the most important information it contains is how your final mark will be broken down. This is often the first section students search for, and they're right to do so. Head to the section where they break down the grading scheme and set your goal. Ask yourself the following questions. What grade do I really want? What marks have you received in similar classes? What grade do you think you can realistically obtain? And how hard are you willing to work for it? Set your goal for the semester. First, silently to yourself, but then write it down and make it a commitment. Add this to your goals list and plan tonight to create a study strategy to help you make this happen. If you don't know how to do this, you can join our weekly and monthly goal setting live streams for support. We have a great community and we work together to set goals and hold each other accountable. I do them live on the YouTube channel, so subscribe to be notified when our next one is. Your syllabus will also describe how your mark is broken down. Once you have set the goal for the semester, it's time to strategize how to achieve it. Your syllabus should also list the components of your final grade and their worth. Knowing how your mark will be broken down is essential for several reasons. On the first day of class, you'll be able to anticipate your workload as the semester progresses. Using this outline, you can create a plan to balance the course material between your classes and set aside time to work on each assignment. This means you won't have to pull all-nighters to cram for tests, just as long as you follow your plan. Print off your syllabus and check out my guide to creating a semester study plan. You will learn how to balance your workload and create a study strategy for the semester. This guide is broken down into simple steps, so it's super easy to follow. Next, you can use your syllabus to anticipate the workload for each of your classes. Adding assignments, due dates, and exams to your agenda allows you to anticipate how much coursework you will be expected to complete. After receiving the syllabus for each class, you should immediately add these dates to your planner. This will give you an idea about how to balance your time as each of these dates approaches. If you have several assignments with due dates that cluster together or projects that are near exams, it's best to be able to anticipate that crunch right now. This forward thinking will help you to better manage your time. You can then plan to better spend the weeks leading up to these dates. Knowing that you must study thoroughly in advance will relieve some of the pressure around busy times. We all know that professors all get together and plan their exams on the exact same day. So being able to know that these dates are coming up close and being able to have that warning ahead of time because you're going to forget. We all forget. We all allow this date even though we know it's coming. We allow it to sneak up on us. We do. We do. Just admit it. So the fact that you've added these dates and these reminders into your planner, or if you're not great with planners, you can add them into your Google Calendar. It's just as effective. Those reminders can get you to start studying early. Depending on the size of the project, I like writing a note about a week or two before the due date. I do this in my planner, but I'll also sometimes add it to my Google Calendar. This way, I don't have to worry about overlooking anything. It will be right in my face. Note the weight of each assignment and plan your time accordingly. Knowing how each assignment for every class is weighted towards your final mark will help you to judge its importance and set its priority. There may be assignments that you have to do early or spend less time and energy on. Getting information on the first day of class can be extremely helpful. Not every assignment is made equal. There will be times when you simply cannot give everything your all. When considering how much effort to put into a project, when you are already overburdened, consider how much it's worth. Is an assignment worth 2% of your mark worth pulling an all nighter for? Especially if you have an exam the next day? Alternatively, if there's an assignment worth 20% of your mark, you might want to put a little bit of extra care into it. How important are the exams? Sometimes classes are marked solely on their midterms and their final exams. These classes seem like a blessing at first, but Just know that there is zero room for error. You will forget a ton of information between your first and final days. Do not let your guard down or your study habits falter. You still have to study this class every day as if the exam is just around the corner. There is no way to make up for any lost marks. Every question on these tests counts. It's easy to skip a few days when the exam seems far off, but this can quickly become a habit. Try to make time in your week to study these classes, even if there's no test date scheduled. It's much easier to review just a little bit every day than to cram. Try to spread out that crunch session over the entire semester. How do labs and tutorials impact your mark? When taking labs and tutorials, it's often taken for granted that they can significantly impact your mark. Usually, you don't receive a separate grade for them. Your efforts during lab are often absorbed into one larger mark for the entire class. Despite being expected to perform and complete weekly assignments, you might feel like there's little to show up for. Unfortunately, in most classes, failing to pass the lab exams will result in a failing grade. Even if you get 100% on the final exam of the main course, the lab can still hinder your advancement. This information will be outlined in your syllabus. There should be clearly defined parameters for your minimum passable mark in the lab and minimum attendance. Many labs are mandatory, and even missing a single day can result in failure. If this is the case, you will need to know well ahead of time in case any emergency or illness comes up. Making up the lab may not be as easy as you might anticipate. Fortunately, much of the material you learn in these tutorials will support what you cover in class. However, it will be from a much different perspective. At least once a week, analyze how your lab unit reflects and connects to the class material. Make sure to elaborate in your notes so that you can put the words together at exam time. Use the outline of the course material to plan your study sessions and get ahead. Finally, we get to the most important function of your syllabus. While reading it over, you will notice a list of possible breakdown of topics. Some especially organized professors may also lay out the timeline for each concept. This list is crucial for the savvy student. If you are really dedicated to getting the best mark possible, you will use this guide to track and anticipate your progress. You can do this at the beginning of the semester to fast track your learning and get ahead. First, use this list to create a tracker. Here, you can record everything you cover in class, everything you want to research on your own, and even note the concepts you find easy or struggle with. This will allow you to better schedule what content you must study leading up to the exam. Having a list of all of the topics, how much effort you need to put into studying, and how difficult you found that concept will help to make your revision planning easier. You can even get a head start and create templates for your study sessions ahead of time. The most natural use is, of course, tracking along with your syllabus. This will give you a good idea of what you can expect to cover in class, how you proceed through each lesson, week by week, and what you will be learning is easily anticipated by referencing the syllabus. You can then read the chapter before class so you're primed on all the material. If you miss a specific lecture, it will also give you a solid idea of where to find the content you missed. Noticing trends in the syllabus breakdown can also provide insight into a concept's importance. If you see that much of your lecture time is being devoted on one particular topic, it's usually fair to assume that it's a pretty important one. In university, class time is precious and the lessons move fast. With lecture time at a premium, spending multiple lessons on a single idea means something in itself. The professor rarely spends an entire class on one concept, let alone several periods. If you're spending a lot of time on a topic, it's likely it's very, very important. Make special note of how much time is dedicated to each part of the outline. Longer sections are likely to be more important, so make sure to get a jump on these early. Use your syllabus to help organize your study material. Your syllabus can help you decide the best way to take and organize your notes. Do you want to take them class by class? Do you want to break do you want them to break down into concepts? Do you want them to break down week by week? The outline on your syllabus will show you how your professor organizes the information. Often, it's easier to arrange your notes in the same way. Having a distinct end of your notes is helpful when studying. It tells you where information goes and what concepts are related to it. It also helps you to study for exams because the related material will be linked. If the instructor organizes the syllabus by chapter, you might want to structure your class notes like those from the textbook. If your instructor jumps around with no discernible pattern, you may want to structure your notes by date. Lecture styles are unique to the professor. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Use your syllabus to take the wheel and study ahead of your professor. For especially eager students who really wants to get the most out of their course, use the syllabus to get ahead of the professor. To get every last drop of information out of your lectures, read ahead of the professor. Reading your textbook before class gives you a general understanding of the upcoming concepts. This way, while you're in class, you can focus on the fine details. If you read ahead, you will already know what part of the information you're struggling with. This will allow you to ask the professor to clarify questions in real time. Using lecture notes to refine your knowledge rather than learning new topics is how to extract the most benefit. Now, you're not learning these concepts for the first time. You already know them. You have a generalized understanding of what you need to know. What the professor is doing is filling in the details. Okay, as we wrap up, we're going to get into 5 tips for getting amazing grades. So, getting excellent grades does not happen by accident. Students need to make a deliberate plan and follow it to get the marks that they want. This is the only way to reliably bring home exceptional grades. Top students have a few secrets, and I'm going to share them with you now. Number 1, set a goal for the grade you want and remind yourself of it every single day. That's one of the very first steps we talked about today. You have to know what you want, and everybody's going to say A plus, but sit down and think about the entire course load that you're taking and how much effort you're willing to work on that A plus. If you're only willing to work for a B plus, then you need to be honest with yourself when you're setting that goal. Do at least one task a day to bring you closer to that goal. Even if you're just pulling out flashcards or quietly quizzing yourself while you're in the shower about that class. Just do some self study time and do one thing that gets you closer to the goal. 3, create a study plan and stick to it. Like I said, every Monday right now, we are doing the lives where we sit down, we set our goals for the week. And part of that is setting our study plan or making our study goals for the week. If you are not sure how to do this, by all means, come and join us. Watch us do it once or twice, and then you're ready to take the wheel or read the chapter before you arrive in class. It's so important to be able to have a general understanding. Just know a little bit more about what you're going to be walking into. If you're walking into it completely blind and you're learning right on the spot, it's going to be harder to understand concepts. If you've already read the chapter, you're coming in, the professor is going to now talk to you about stuff that you already have a little bit of an idea about, and that can really just let you focus on deepening your understanding rather than taking the information in the first time. Fine. 5, give every single assignment your best shot and don't talk yourself out of handing it in. When I was first in school, and especially in high school, I really, really struggled with anxiety, perfectionism. I don't know what you would call it at this point, but I would literally feel that none of my work was good enough. And even if it was something simple, even if I finished it, even if it was sitting there in my hands right in front of me, when it was time to hand it in, I often just could not bring myself to hand it in. And the worst part about it was, even if I got 1 out of 100, it would have been more than the 0 out of 100 from not handing it in. But I just could not get over that negative self-talk, that feeling of unworthiness and of failure to hand it in. And that's tough. I'm getting so much better with it. And you know what is the best way to get over it is literally to just start handing things in. Even if your marks suck, it's better than the 0 you'll get. It's almost like ripping off a Band-Aid, and it's sometimes the hardest thing that you'll ever do, but just hand the assignment in, and then when you get it back, look at your mark and be like, "Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get 1 more mark next time." Or you might look at it and you might be like, "I tried my best, and that's good enough." So start with these 5 tips and you will soon see improvements in your grade. You may also notice a boost in your self esteem. This is because progress often elevates motivation. When you see the progress, when you see things are changing, that is when the motivation will come. This is a link for my Manifesting Good Grades workbook, and it will help you transform your study habits. If you do want to learn a little bit more, you can always visit the website. The How to Manifest Good Grades is not just about wishful thinking, it is a practical guide to make things happen. If you're following the steps, you will build a solid foundation for manifesting the academic success you desire. All you need is a bit of focus, dedication, and the willingness to see the process through. Now, let me make a little bit of side note before we wrap this up. Manifesting is not the whole, I'm going to become one with the universe. I'm going to put this out into the stars and it's just going to come back to me. That's not what that is. It's about making a deliberate choice and taking the steps required to attract the success that you want. One of the examples of that is if you do suffer with perfectionism or academic anxiety, it is just handing in that assignment. That might be your goal for the week is just, I'm just going to hand in this assignment. But it is sitting down and it's making a meaningful, concrete plan about how you're going to get from A to B. How are you going to start where you are and get to where you want to be? Whether it's taking the courses you need to take or the steps you need to do to make a study plan or making a goal. Manifesting is not about just wishing on a star, it's about that meaningful, mindful, dedicated journey from point A to point B. Now, make the most of your syllabus and the manifesting workbook to transform how you approach studying. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. Using your syllabus as a cheat code can help you to make the semester much more manageable. It can help you to plan out your workload, anticipate each lesson, and get ahead of the professor. This will lower your stress and help make student life much more manageable. If you want to use your syllabus to finally get the amazing grades you want, pick up this study guide template. You can organize your study plans and map out your strategy for the entire semester. It's free and you can download it in the description below. A couple weeks ago, depending on when you're watching this, I I made my semester study plan using the free study planner on the morning goal setting live stream. We sat down, we set our goals. I filled out mine. Hopefully you filled out yours. So if you are interested in doing that, I will link that below. I'll link that in the description as well. This is a lot of links I'm going to have to remember. So if I miss a link, comment because I'm going to try and remember all these links, but these are a lot of links. I'm going to link that live as well down below so that you can actually do this with me when I'm doing it. I think I have some coffee. We have a little chit chat. We set some goals and I fill out my semester study plan for the semester using the class that I'm taking, one of the classes I'm taking, which was I think I did corporate finance. So I'll link that below. If you have a little bit of extra time, grab your syllabus, print off the study planner, and join me in that video. Otherwise, let me know which of these steps, which of these tips you are going to work on in your life. Put it in the comments below. And until next time, I hope you have an amazing adventure.